Hi! If you were alive in the 2000s or if you have ever watched any type of video about the 2000s, you will know that there is something very common in all of these stories: the glow up. With not one but 2 degrees with honors, one in international studies and one in philosophy, I'm here to speak about the actual 2000s glow up. So, part number 1, the physical glow up. Now, the physical glow up can be a little bit problematic. So here we are just saying the things that basically constituted an actual glow up back then. But if you are trying to glow up for school this year, no. Likely the concept of glow ups has evolved. Sourcing everything onto many movies, then being Easy Girl, Clueless, The Princess Diary, The OC, Gossip Girls, Mean Girls, My Scene the Movie, yes, My Scene the Movies, that's for the OGs. But also, of course, Freaky Friday and newer things like Awkward. To make a physical glow up, you needed the basis. Take off the glasses and that salopette, baby. That is because you also needed to look cool. And somehow the 2000s were so fixated on the fact that you only needed to take off your glass to get hotter, like instantly. Something that's also very important to do is to straighten your hair. Yes, because they didn't like curls to be like fiery and big hair. No, they were all against big hair. Indeed, you can clearly remember that in The Princess Diary, Anne Hathaway had beautiful curls, and instead of actually enunciating them, like making them better, like to define them, no, they just flat out straighten the hair. Also in the Devil Wears Prada, you kind of see that her hair becomes like put together, but never on the curly side. So something else is that you should be thinning your brows. Because see those fluffy brows? Absolutely out of everybody's minds. No, you cannot have that type of brows if you actually want to glow up in the 2000s. Then, what was the standard of beauty? The standard of beauty was low. No, it was Victoria's Secret type of beauty, super modern, very Caucasian. Let's be real, there was not diversity back then. I remember that even Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbell kind of were in a beef with each other because it was like, hey, there's just space for one of us. Crazy, absolutely. So what you actually needed for standard of beauty, the models were like Victoria's Secret, so super tall, super skinny, I would say somehow athletic. I would also say somehow battling with an ED. It kind of was also fashionized. We will be speaking about the whole discourse about body dysmorphia back then, because it was very much pushed, especially in the magazines, but whatever, So having a glow up basically meant also to lose some type of weight. Indeed, you can actually see that in The Devil Wears Prada, Andy actually tosses to the fact that she has lost some weight. What else we got? We got the alternative girl. Now, the alternative girl was like Avril Lavigne, I would say. If you go on Freaky Friday, we have Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan has, this type of aura that there should be like a master's degree about Lindsay Lohan's aura, I would like to say. But in Freaky Friday, you can actually see that she is that type of girl. You still need to be like beautiful, like, I don't know, Megan Fox beautiful, but alternative. And also maybe listens to Avril Lavigne, Blink, she's into pop punk, she listens to Pink, and maybe she is sexually curious. You will tell me. She used to be a tomboy, but then she grew somehow super sexy and now she's hot and that's it. I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, you had to be like a Victoria's Secret fashion model. Problematic, I would say, also because you kind of needed to have that really Caucasian, like angel beauty, which was the opposite of diversity, but at the same time, it was also like very, very, very inclined towards like eating disorders and this type of things. The last thing you'd actually needed to do was to have real low-rise jeans. Yes, the real ones, the ones that you would never be able to do any type of workout in them. No, never. Workout meaning that if you actually drop a pen and you need to get in low, you cannot actually bend. You just need to practice like your mental strength to actually attract it, you know, like magnetically attract it to your hands from the floor. That's why everybody really loved Matilda, because, you know, when she can move objects with her mind, it would have been very convenient for all of us back then. If you actually were at the correct age, you actually needed a song. A song that was also the muse of one of the most beautiful songs ever. I'm speaking about the Tongue Song by Cisco. By the way, am I the only one thinking that if it wasn't for the actual theme of the song, if it were just for the music, I mean, that would have been like Mozart. I mean, it's so good, but whatever. When I'm getting married, you know how I am, going to the altar. Part 2, the social parts. The actual part 2 is that you also needed a social glow up, which often started with the absolute betrayal of the person that you were before. Yes, because you didn't need your actual real friends. You glowing up meant you had to kind of put them on a side, stop doing whatever you were doing, like studying and being like academically good at whatever. You needed to start going to parties, to host parties, and to get all of the things that came with it. All of these movies give you the idea that you can either be like a cool person or a person that's actually academically successful. At the same time, the cool guy needed to be a quarterback. Like there was nothing else he could be doing in his free time. Nothing. Actually, the quarterback had to be somehow of another species. Some of the strangest things in movies, because sometimes they seem like they cast people not knowing like what teenagers actually look like. But whatever, that's not the idea of the video. The idea of the video was that if you wanted to get socially like cool, you needed to have a really important relationship with the quarterback of the school. And if you were a guy, you needed to get with the cheerleaders. If she's the head of cheerleaders, better, of course. The higher in hierarchy, the better, always. So that was it. Also, what you needed to ditch was to get out of anything that was creatively strange, because it was strange to have a passion for trombone. And it was strange to have a passion for classical music, a passion for, I don't know, history or whatever actually was like academically important or somehow fulfilling your brain. No, it was very about the superficial things, about going to parties, hosting parties, about looking good at parties, of course. Can you remember the episode where Jenna from Awkward, she has to get dressed and to be cool, and so she kind of dresses up with this very tight dress, and she actually uses tape around her boobs because she really wants to be cool. The general recap is that in order to have a physical glow up, you needed to take off those glasses, straighten the hair, diss that salopette, get blonde if you can, thin your brows, Victoria's Secret standard beauty, or to be still as beautiful as a supermodel, but alternative, like you listen to Blink 182 or Ariel. Basically, you also need to have really low-rise jeans with a thong. That is the muse of one of the most beautiful melodies of the century. I'm speaking about the Thong Song by Cisco. Also, you needed to have a push-up by Victoria's Secret. That's it, not other way around it. Socially speaking, you actually needed to start going to parties, start to host parties, and start dating the popular guy girl. Now, somehow you need to understand what a quarterback is and kind of try to get on with him. Find one outside of the American sphere of affluence and someday show him that you are such a good cheerleader that he can choose you and pick you out of the best cheerleaders on planet Earth. You need also to have some type of money because you needed to have branded clothing or something that was, of course, perceived as cool, and have a cool car, especially if you are a guy. So, in conclusions, here with this very sweaty day, because there's a heat wave here and I'm not going to look fantastic. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that having a glow up in the 2000s way was very problematic. But if you were looking for a really big wrap up, that's it, you know. That's how you need to do. You have to curate your image, your aesthetic, and also the social life. Now, this, I wouldn't say that it was like a good example. I think it was a terrible example. I think that there is this very important thing to remember, which is somehow it meant to not be yourself. Forget about the friends, forget about what you actually like in order to perform, to be cool, which is never a good idea because it's just a very big refusal of what you actually are. I wouldn't suggest you to like completely abandon it because, you know, maybe you like to study history or to play the trombone or the violin. Like, go for it, you know? Why not? There are films of this that are so fun, but do not take this as advice. Take it as like a really small documentary about what it actually meant to glow up in the 2000s. But remember that it was very wide specific. It was very fun, sure, fun to watch in a movie. I wouldn't suggest it to leave it actually to start and act upon it because you actually need your real friends in life. You don't need to ditch out your friends. You need to stay with them because they matter and because your actual awkward things in life have a reason to be there and that actually make you. So they basically shape yourself. So don't toss that salopette if you like the salopette, but go and listen to the Thong song because it's one of the best songs ever written in history. Oh, yes, I said it. Some examples, if you wanna go and hop onto a binge watching of these things, I would suggest you like Mean Girls, My Scene the movie, which was crazy about this. If you want the opposite and to have like a prank onto these things, you got Malcolm, 21 Jump Street, if you would like to see how basically the tables have turned, because what was cool then, like Channing Tatum, that was still like big and muscular and was the quarterback. He used to be the coolest guy and now he's not, because now the attention was much more up on sensitivity, up on drama class, up on music and whatever. And now this video ended. But remember, this is Currents by Lisa and I am uploading every Tuesday in spite of any type of heat wave. Although it might affect my brain, but whatever, bye!